Hey, it's Keith. Today is Saturday, March 7, 2026, which means today is the annual B3 Vintage Guitar Show up in Asheville, North Carolina. I am here at my house, just kind of waiting for Justin to get here. We saddle up and head out. Um, Still too many guitars out there in the market, still kind of a buyer's year, I guess. Hope to see some cool stuff at some decent prices. You never know. Yeah, that's where we're headed.
Got there early, but still, there was a line out to the parking lot, which is generally a good sign. Saw Randy from the Guitar Attic was there. He comes up from Daytona Beach, Florida. He usually brings cool stuff. This year he had a Flying V. It was pretty nice. Jimmy Page replica 58 Les Paul 18 grand. Second row, like top right, that checkerboard Wolfgang that disappeared, like turned around, disappeared, sold, gone. Last guitar on the last table was the mythic Paul Reed Smith 513. No joke. Late 1980s guitar company in Canada called Signature. Alex Lifeson was endorsed by this company briefly. Justin found these amps. We kind of didn't see him the first time around, I guess, but Fender Hot Rod Deluxe and the Bugera. I forget the model. It's like a V22 or something, but yeah, the two of them, he got a sweet deal. File under you learn something every day. I know Ream as a company that makes HVAC equipment, mostly residential market, but that kind of thing, heating, refrigeration, air conditioning, that sort of thing. No, they made amps too. Who knew? And there was a booth that had three Ampegs. This one was a 1965 Jet. Pretty cool.
Hello. Anyway, once again, you got me unscripted. Hey, it's Keith. Today is Saturday, March 7, 2026, which means that today was the annual B3 Vintage Guitar Show in Asheville, North Carolina, just an hour and a half from where I live. So if you're watching this video, you know me enough to know I wait 364 days for this to happen. It's my favorite day of the year. It's a big warehouse of a building in Asheville. It's at the agricultural center, actually, where they would normally do things like show pigs. There was actually some horse thing going on, and it's funny. I drove up and it's like, hey, it's some horse shit, but it was actually not horse shit, but horse related shit going on. In addition to the guitar show, so big empty space full of guitar and that sort of people selling guitars and amps. I was expecting low prices as the apocalypse. Everyone bought guitars during the pandemic, and as you know, 90% of the people who say, I'm going to learn to play guitar quit. It's not the easiest instrument to learn. Whatever. A lot of people that bought guitars in the pandemic don't want them anymore, trying to sell them. There's a glut of used guitars on the market right now. So that makes them less expensive, the whole supply demand thing. A lot of supply. I didn't sell anything this year. It's not a seller's market. So I'd be taking a bath on anything I sold anyway. So I didn't get rid of anything. But I did find some things, as I do. Um, so before I get started, I went with my buddy Justin. Half the people watching this know who that is. Justin is awesome friend. We do this every year, and he's whatever. He's great, but he's good to have around in that he'll help me go through the you know, questioning of what the best thing to get is. So I trust his advice a lot, and I listen to him, and you'll see what I mean. Anyway, so Justin is a talented guitar player. He's played in bands that tour, and he's recording, and he's the head writer for pretty much any band you put him in because he's just that very creative person. And anyway, Justin is working with a guitar maker. The guitars are called Illuminati. They have aluminum necks. If you remember was it Travis Bean stuff back in the 70s, the aluminum neck guitars, kind of like that, solid aluminum, incredible tuning stability and all that stuff. So the guy, Fred Rudder is the guy's name. It's Rudder Guitars, Rudder like on the back of a boat. So Fred will sometimes have Justin work these booths with him at things like guitar shows. Justin was invited, maybe suggested to work this show with Fred. We stopped by the booth. Justin, played guitar there for a little while. Justin demos the guitars and stuff. He's an excellent guitar player. So anyway, Fred had gotten us dealer passes, and you'll see my name is Fred Cook because I said it's Fred Rudder, and Justin Cook is my friend Justin. So he knew that Justin was bringing a friend, me, not knowing my name. He put his name and Justin's name together, and I was today Fred Cook. But dealer pass. So there was a lengthy line to get in. We got there pretty early, right at 10-ish. Doors open at 10. And we bypassed the whole line because, we called, hey, Fred, we're here. He sent out one of his guys, handed us our passes, bypassed the line, walk right in. The other benefit of the pass is, as a dealer, I don't have to show a receipt that I bought something. We just walked out with stuff. It was a time saver. We weren't stealing anything. But if we were that kind of person, it would have been a lot easier to steal. Yeah. The only annoying thing, walking around with a dealer pass was treated very differently, by the way. And dealers would talk to us as they would talk to each other, and dealers make deals with each other. And so there were things like, hey, I'll sell you this because you'll be able to sell it easily for XYZ. So we're knowing what the rock bottom price is without asking. People volunteer because apparently we're guitar dealers. So it felt kind of scammy. It's not expensive, $10 to get in. It's not about the $10, but it was a time saver and just kind of a peek behind the curtain. Interesting. So anyway, that was fun to go as a dealer. I've been looking for a first production year run, if possible, of the Kirk Hammett Ouija signature guitar, the LTD. I can't afford the $17,000 they want for the ESP version. But the LTDs, they made 666 of them. It's kind of cool. I've been looking at them for a long time. Prices on those, like so many things I was saying, are down. They're under $3,000 now. They're gettable. I don't know that I've seen one of the natural ones in the wild. Not in the last 5 or 10 years. I haven't, since I've been able to afford them, frankly. But I never see them there. But if I did, I'd be interested in. Didn't. There are some for sale on Reverb. Again, they're in the 26, 7, 8 range. Still haven't gotten one because I know way down deep I won't play it. It's another trophy guitar. I don't like LTD necks, and I know I'm not going to like the Floyd on it because it's cheapy. I've had an LTD before that I got rid of. It was a George Lynch, which, by the way, I saw another George Lynch signature series. It was one of those kind of spacey looking ones. It was sort of like an Explorer but with rounded edges. I'll find it. Maybe I'll show you a picture of it. It's kind of cool, but didn't want it. Yeah, so guitar wise, other than that, the thing I've been kind of looking at for years is the Paul Reed Smith 513. It's called the 513 because it sort of has 5 individual coils, pickups. It looks like 2 humbuckers and a single in the middle. But they can be switched such that they're like 13 different ways with 5 coils. That's why it's called the 513. And you get 13 very different sounds out of it. Love it. It's kind of what I dig about. I dig about the Quest is it has that little switch there in the middle, and that changes the voicing of the 2 humbuckers, so that a 2 humbucker guitar with a 5-way switch, you now have 10 voicings. And again, it's 10 different all usable voicings. I friggin' love that thing. So yeah, I'm a sucker for ridiculous, weird switching. One of my other all-time is my 321. And it just has like, it is like a $300 guitar. But love that thing. It's because of the way that it's switched. It's a 5-way, but it does kooky stuff like it's a 5-way with 2 humbuckers, but it doesn't have like a voicing switch like that. So how do you get 5 out of 2? And it has like split coil settings, but it also does like 1 out of phase. It's great. Nothing else switches like the 321. I love it. So anyway, that's one of the reasons why I always wanted a 513. They only made them for a few years. They're out there, and I'm starting to find them cheaper. There's several on Reverb that I'm watching right now. Literally, not joking, the last guitar at the last table we looked at was a 513. It was the only 513 there, only one. Last year there were 2 or 3. There's 5 or 6 of them on Reverb right now. This one was the 25th anniversary, 2010. Good shape, the hollow birds and all that. Top was not great. They called it a 10 top, but not a 10. It was okay. It's orange, a little bit of flame to it. I think the listed price they had written on it was $45, but they immediately said they'd do $4,000. I didn't do it. Other interesting things. I found an old Sabre, an Ibanez Sabre. Again, the Quest kind of fulfills my need for a super skinny, lightweight Ibanez guitar. But I do regret selling my Sabre, and kind of want to replace it. But anyway, if I could find the one I had, I'd buy it back in a second. It was an SA160. If you see an orange SA160, let me know, especially if it's from a kid who got it from his dad real cheap from some guy at a yard sale in Charlotte. Found a Sabre. It was green. All the pickups have been changed. Thought about it. It's like $500. I'm sure they would have gone lower. What else was interesting? There was a couple Flying V's I was looking at. They were about $1,500 in that price range. And there were a few that looked pretty good. There was an Epiphone Carina that looked okay. It was one that was like walnut. I didn't see a lot of stuff getting sold. I didn't see a lot of people leaving with guitars. So I don't know if that means prices were still too high, or I don't know. But things seemed kind of fair to me. Not a lot of, I was hoping to find a Strandberg. None of that. Not a single one. And I've only ever seen 1 or 2 there. Steinbergers, I found, for Chris, I found that neck. I know there was a time you were looking for that metal end piece on the cap where a headstock would be, that basically is the cloth or the strings on a Steinberger. Found one of those. Didn't have a price on it, so I'm not sure. But how often do you find Steinberger necks? It was wooden, so it might have been one of the Hohner types and not an actual Steinberger, because it wasn't all carbon and all that like a real Steinberger. So there's that. There was a fake 5150 Steinberger that someone made. I think it was wooden, so I think it was another Hohner. that someone had just kind of painted, but really bad. The black stripes on it, because it was like the Frankenstein red, right, black striped look. And black stripes were just electrical tape, just on a red and white guitar. Like it wasn't painted, it was just electrical tape. So it was really kind of poor man's. I might have pictures of it. I don't know. Maybe I'll put pictures in this video because I did get a few. Not many, and I didn't shoot a second of video. Usually I'll try and I'll abandon after a bit of time because it's work. I'm busy looking at shit. So, I mean, that's kind of some of the stuff I didn't get. What did I get? I'll show you. We'll start with the guitar. There was one booth, they had 6 or 7 Wolfgangs. This was the cheapest one. You can see why. It's trashed. This is some kind of water damage. It's down to bare wood. Like you can just feel the open pores in it. This thing's going to get filthy if you just touch it. This is actually rough. So it could use some more sanding. Yeah. I don't know what someone did, why they ripped all the plates off of it. So I got to get whatever. I have pickguard material I can cut out and get some back plates, or I don't know, maybe I'll do something funky and different. We'll see. Just haven't decided. That looks miserable, but I guess it all still works okay. May have to shield it. There's no shielding here. Like screws don't match. So this is like very, very Eddie Van Halen that this thing has been hacked up. So it's a Wolfgang, and it's when Peavey was still making them. This is before Fender and EVH happened. After the Music Man stuff, he went to Peavey. So this is one of those. It's nice. Obviously, it was very inexpensive. This was, what was this, like $300? So, yeah, I got a Wolfgang. Didn't come with this case. This is my case. I brought an empty case for this exact kind of situation where it came with the flimsiest garbage gig bag ever. So, yeah, I used the gig bag to take the thing out to the car and then put it in this real case. So, got a Wolfgang, some assembly / work required. Pedals, I didn't go crazy at all. And actually, only 2 of these are from Lamar. A decimator, just because every amp requires one. And I remember these from the 90s, the Digitech, the 2 foot switch things. This is a double play. I really want the ridiculous digital delay they made that had like a 16-second delay on it, whatever. Almost useless, but I always wanted to try and figure out to make it useful. Rev, so they, each of their channels off of their amps, they, pulled them out as pedals, as a lot of people do. So this is kind of the, heavier, high gain one. I played one of their amps, the purple one, on our Safari last year, and I kind of was not super impressed, to be honest. Got one of these cheap, a Boss synthesizer SY1. It's great. It does a lot of those synthy kind of sounds without the hex pickup and all that, just regular pickups. It works. That's the first one that's like actually good. There's a 200 series one of the bigger ones that's kind of better, but you pay more for it, obviously. I'm fine with that. I can get plenty of mileage out of that. So that's very exciting. Looking forward to messing around with that. And yeah, just in general, I can't have enough dirt pedals, obviously. And every amp needs one of those. And that's just kooky and weird and fun. Again, pretty cheap. Only 2 of them from Lamar. But amp, look at this. It's an Ampeg Jet. I have always liked Ampegs, the Jets and the Reverberockets. this one dealer had this jet. He had a reverber rocket and a dolphin. I've never seen or played or heard a dolphin. It's from 1959. It's like one of the first Ampegs. Had a totally different logo to it and everything. I think it was like probably the first Ampeg guitar amp. Ampeg, I don't know if you know, the name came from, it was in the peg of a stand-up bass that had, like, the peg came out the bottom where you'd stand up the bass, the big stand-up thing. And the electronics for the amp went into the peg that was on the bottom of the bass. And it, had a cable that plugged into that. And then that went, so it was really, the amp was in the peg of the stand-up bass. That's how the Ampeg got its name. Just trivia. Anyway, always liked Ampeg, and it has the old, blue checkered Tolex. This amp is older than me. This is 1965. You can't read it. Like, that is genuine filth. Sounds good. The guy that sold it to me, this was his amp that, sat in his living room. That speaker, yeah, that's not a 1965 speaker, because see how it's neo? That's neodymium. So it has a new Celestion neodymium speaker that sounds fabulous. Ooh, look at that tag. Yeah, see, I gotta read that. It might have the name of the person who worked on it in 1973. Anyway, so yeah, complement of tubes. He, I believe he said he recapped it, all the capacitors, because old, I'm betting money they put a new plug on, because this is grounded, a third plug, like a grounding. 1965 probably did not come that way. And by the way, old amps, that's usually a mistake. Like, I know people think, oh, it's safer, it's grounded, whatever. How many people died from guitar amplifiers in the 50s and 60s? Not many. The thing is, with older 60s amps that are designed to not have a grounding plug, you can only plug this in one way, right? You can't turn it because grounding plug. Well, these are designed to be able to be flipped, because that's how you defeat like polarity. See the way, like the 180 switches on this guy? That's to switch the polarity in case one amp is wired with the opposite polarity of the other. If it was back in the 50s or 60s, you just pull out the plug and flip it over. Bang, hum gone. So again, with these old amps from the 60s, like, I'll make it safe with a third plug. No, you fucked it up and made it noisy, stupid. Leave it. Anyway, so someone changed that, but it still sounds fine. It's fine, and whatever. No one will get electrocuted. Not that that was a problem. That's it. I don't need a lot. I don't need any of this stuff, really. But always wanted an Ampeg, and it sounds really cool. Doesn't sound like, it's not a Fender, it's not a Marshall, it's not a Vox. It's an Ampeg. Breaks up a little different. It isn't a mid 60s tube amp, so it has like all that warmth and stuff. So clean, it sounds good. You crank it again. It only has 3 knobs, and by the way, you think like, preamp, treble, bass. No, one of those is for the tremolo. It has a tremolo circuit. That sounds pretty good, actually. So, yeah, that's my Ampeg Jet. Looking forward to messing around with that. Oh, Roxy's checking it out too. Yeah, that's what I got. Justin got 0 guitars. 0 guitars. He sold 0 guitars. He brought one, didn't sell it. We were sort of walking around. He got some pretty decent studio gear, actually. Warm audio rack mount mic preamp. That was from Randy, actually. Good deal. And it was like brand new and easily $100 off. It was a good deal. Randy's always fair. Other thing, from Lamar, at Pre-Rocked, Justin got a Blue Tube rack mount. Barely remember those. I still have. Hang on, I got one. Here it is. My blue. Here. The tube works. Blue tube. So he got this as a rack mount. It's funny though. It has the same knobs as the pedal that they tend to be noisy. And Lamar warned me. He's like, I clean the shit out of those things. So I'm curious how the blue tube sounds. So many uses for that. Like he'll get mileage out of that. Justin's got a pretty decent studio setup going, and he's got a bunch of outboard like studio gear, so that stuff is right up his alley. I was actually surprised because he said he was looking for like studio rack gear, and I'm like, they don't usually have a lot of that stuff. This time they did. Not a single Strandberg though, and only one 513. Where last year there were like 3 of them. The year before there was a couple of them. This year, one. So you never know what you're gonna get. So the other thing, we're walking through, and it was right next to where we saw the Ampeg actually. And it's the only reason I saw the Ampeg is because Justin had stopped. Guy was selling a Bugera 1x12 combo. It's kind of Fender-ish. I think it was 6V6 power tubes. Super cheap. Like the guy had it marked down to $250. And again, when he saw our dealer passes, our dealer tags, he's selling it to us like a dealer and telling us what we can resell it for to someone else cheaper. Anyway, next to it was a limited edition red Tolex Fender Hot Rod Deluxe. I think it was a 1x12. In pretty good shape. The red Tolex was faded and looked more pinkish, so I think that's why. He ended up selling both amps to Justin for a little over $500, or maybe $550. Just the Fender is worth that all day. So yeah, he got some decent studio gear. And he got a Rockman X100 on my rave reviews. But he was asking like, "Oh, it'll do the Def Leppard." Mm-hmm. Yep. If you want to do Def Leppard Hysteria, that's how you do it. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, Justin did pretty good. But again, the only guitar was my burned Wolfgang. But we'll do something with it. Whether I leave it natural and seal it or stain it. Justin likes it all dirty, but I don't know. I like all my stuff like kind of nice. Well, that's okay, whatever. But that's what we did. Was not super expensive year. But how much of this shit do I need, really? But it's fun. And now I got my Ampeg. So yep, good time. And now I just got to play all this shit. Thanks for watching.
And there was a booth that had 3 Ampegs. This one was a 1965 Jet. Pretty cool.